What's going on, everybody? This is Professor Crypto Banana. In today's video, I'm going over DeFi 2.0. So if you heard of Spell, MIM, Popsicle Finance, ICE, Curve, all these different complicated terms and projects, I'm going to try to string it together the best that I can, and then probably in later videos go into more specific areas on how I understand it. But before we get started, I gotta let you know, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. These are just my opinions, and it's for educational purposes only. In addition, I am not a crypto expert. I'm just learning as I go. I'm trying to share with you as much information that I have. So a lot of this could be incorrect, invalid, so please give me feedback. Let me know where I'm wrong and how I can improve and different ideas, because, hey, I'm enjoying the ride. So I want to show you my diagram. There we go. Look at this. So if you've tried to read through all these different things, it can get very complicated, and I'm still trying to understand it, because you have to understand liquidity provider tokens, stable coins. What's the difference between just a centralized stable coin and a decentralized stable coin? A lot of these things are just they go over my head. They probably go over a lot of other people's heads, so I'm going to try to simplify it the best that I can with this diagram, probably tweak it later on, and then again, videos down the line. So where does this all start? All starts off DeFi 2.0. This is a rough draft. Some of this stuff isn't even implemented yet. Some of it is. So that's something to keep in mind. But ultimately, the lead spokesperson, probably lead developer, I'm not sure, but I always follow this guy on Twitter because he's got a lot of good info, is DanieleSesta. So follow him on Twitter. Alpha getting dropped like no other. New developments always coming up literally every single day. It's hard to keep track, but it's one of those things where it's also like, oh my gosh, okay, this. So where to start? I'm going to give an overview on my overview. Oh, look at this. So it's the idea that you can put your money and invest into, let's say, liquidity, being a liquidity provider, and you do get some great rewards. But then what if you have the ability to borrow against your liquidity provider tokens? So your tokens, being a liquidity provider, already gaining, hopefully increasing in value from the medium to long term, discrediting impermanent loss if you take it out right away. But you got an asset that is slowly gaining yield. Okay, so then you can borrow against it. Well, what different options can you do now thanks to bridging across multiple blockchains? So you can borrow against it and then utilize that across multiple different blockchains. You could go back and purchase more liquidity provider tokens and somewhat leverage up. You can put those liquidity provider tokens into, let's say, Popsicle Finance, which is going to try to get you the best yield across different blockchains, and you don't have to worry about gas fees or anything of that nature. It takes care of that all for you. So then what you can potentially have is you borrow against your token. It's increasing in value. You can purchase whatever else you like, and then also have that get great yields as well. So then it's just a great concept. So your collateral is making you money, and then you're also making extra money with what you borrowed. Now, it's not going to be like 100%. Gotta keep in mind, liquidation can happen, so if there's a super amount of volatility, that is something to always look out for. But that is the overall process, how I understand. So, taking a look at the diagram, basically, come out with your fiat, your money, or you got a coin. You go to your decentralized exchange and you say, hey fam, I want a liquidity provider token, which I'm just assuming that you know how to do all that. So then you get a liquidity provider token or a receipt just saying, hey, I got this, and it's collecting all the fees from the decentralized exchanges. Sweet. So normally what people do is they put it into whatever yield farm, etc. However, where the game gets changed a little bit is you can go to ABRACADABRA money, symbolized by this wizard, and he will grant, you can then borrow against it, against the collateral you provide, and get a stablecoin called MIM. So you can think of that similar to a tether, to a USDC, a DAI. That is what that represents. Now, what's the catch? So you're borrowing against it, but you have to pay a small % of interest, and that gets rewarded to the stakeholders under the Spell token. So if you hear, wow, Spell is so great, why? Because probably a lot of people are coming to, I call it like the bank, and trying to borrow against it, they have to pay interest, and then that rewards the spell holders. Now, nope, this is only staking on Ethereum. So, the token is sold on all different blockchains, but to stake it only on Ethereum. So keep that in mind. So there's probably going to be other details that I miss or I may get wrong. So always do your own research with this. Double check again, let me know. So keep in mind, basic overview. So boom, gave my LP token to the wizard. He granted me my stablecoin token. Sweet. So how can I think of this? Think of it as it's like a stablecoin, so like a USDC, a Tether, whatever, it's $1. So I can go on any decentralized exchange and swap it for a different token. Okay, that's really cool. But what makes this extra special is the fact you can pop it over using Anyswap to go across multiple bridges, or it's a bridge that allows you to go to different blockchains. So what if I, let's say, gave an LP token over here on the Phantom side, because man, I'm a big fan of Phantom, holy shoot. But then all of a sudden, like, whoa, there's this great token over there on Avalanche now that I want to get in on. Or Ethereum, they're coming out with this NFT or something of that nature, right? It allows me to put that stablecoin wherever I want on one of these blockchains. So let's just say I put it on Ethereum. Okay, cool. Well, now I have MIM on Ethereum. So I go to the next step. Am I a whale? Well, I'm not a whale, so I'll just bypass it and then say I can swap my MIM for whatever I want. Shouldn't be, hopefully, that much slippage for coin Fiat. And then boom, I got Fiat because I borrowed against it. And now I can repeat. I can go back. I can then go to the decentralized exchange, get an LP token, and keep on repeating. Now, of course, I can't borrow 100% against my LP token all the time, or else this would be an infinite loop. So, and if the price were to go down of my LP token, then my collateral, I get liquidated. So you can only borrow against, I don't know what it is, maybe 70% if you're going ultra high risk, maybe 50%, etc. So it's not going to be an infinite glitch here. So you can loop a few times, definitely. And then when you finally get here with your LP token, you can decide what to do with it if you wish to go through the cycle. So you can go then to Popsicle Finance. So we talked about how Popsicle Finance, you provide the LP token there, and they automatically look at all the different blockchains and say, okay, the professor gave me this LP token. We want to get him the best extra rewards for it, because the LP token is already gaining in value from people trading on decentralized exchanges. But if you provide your LP token to certain places, you get even extra benefits. So we want to get the professor the best extra benefits possible. Now, for one day, it could be on Avalanche. The next day, something could pop up on the Binance Smart Chain. Next day, Matic. But because the swapping is so cheap, especially with the gas fees, etc., as well, such as on Avalanche, Polygon, that just opens up a whole new avenue to provide liquidity. So then you pop it over to Popsicle Finance, and boom, it does it all for you, and you're getting the max rewards, as they claim. Now, that's not available as of right yet, but that's the concept of what's going to happen. So people are already buying the governance token, which they can also stake. It's called ICE, and again, I think you can only stake it on the Ethereum network as it stands right now. I don't know if that'll change. I know they're doing that probably for security purposes. So what's the benefit of holding ICE? Well, by Popsicle Finance getting a lot more on the returns from farming, or from the LP token, from the rewards, they're maximizing the rewards. They do take 5% or whatever percentage it is and reward the ICE holders for staking. So I think of it as like a buyback system, I believe. So they're essentially buying back their own token and rewarding the stakeholders. So supply and demand, if the ICE is getting taken off the market and given back to the stakeholders, if they keep on holding and doing that, supply demand, price goes up. So anyways, so that is overall the big concept. And I think that's really huge, because I think having the ability to go across multiple blockchains is huge, and the ability to now have different type of collateral, your LP token, and there's going to be a lot of LP tokens out there on Spirit, a lot of LP tokens on Boo. Those things are going to, and accept that as collateral, that's going to be big, because I don't think a lot of other projects accept that as collateral, so I can borrow against it, and my LP token, my collateral, is still gaining a yield. So that is just, that's big, that's huge. So extra steps. Danielle is, I think he sees the big picture. He understands liquidity, the importance of doing that across multiple blockchains, and why he wants MIM to really be stable and have as much liquidity as well. From what I understand, Curve is a big aspect. Now, me as a small fish, I don't really think about Curve. I don't really care. But to whales, it's a big deal, because you'd like to think that, oh, a $1 tether is equal to a $1 USDC. What's the issue? I swap back and forth. But I don't think that's necessarily the case. On Curve, because if a lot of people, like a big whale, comes over and says, okay, I want to swap this tether for USDC just because, I'm not sure why, or vice versa, well, if there's a pool and it has to be balanced, and when it gets lopsided, ooh, then it takes out some fees, you get some slippage, and that's not good, because let's say you came in with $100,000 and then you lose maybe 2% of that. Ooh, that hurts. You don't want that. So I think Danielle wants to make sure that MIM is not in that same situation as well. So then keep it all afloat. And the more funds that are backing the MIM on Curve, and everything's more even, you can still collect a little bit of those fees that happen. So perhaps the fees are low, but the slippage is not that great. So a great example would be being on a toll bridge. I'm collecting fees, right? Now, if you were to drive on the most busiest bridge ever, and I'm collecting a quarter, 25 cents, probably not that big of a deal. But if there's 1 million people that keep on passing, I'm collecting that 25 cents. Oh, that is awesome. But let's flip the script. Let's just say that not a lot of people are going on the bridge, because man, it is an expensive bridge, and in order to go on this bridge, you have to pay $5. Not a lot of people are going to want to do it. So me as a toll bridge operator, I'm not going to get much. I'll get some, but I want high traffic. I want to make it like very low fees for people to come on it, but then have a lot of people come, so that I'm just collecting a little, and then you kind of dominate the space more. So then by being more on Curve and having more of a stake in there, they also have more of a stake on how should happen on Curve as well. Again, those are just extra details. I'm going super deep, but since this is a basic overview, I'm going to recap and give you the whole basic summary. Y'all ready? I'm ready. Let's do this. Okay, so DeFi 2.0. In normal DeFi, you can give liquidity to, let's say, Uniswap or whatever blockchain, and you Gucci. You good. Okay. Here comes Danielle. He's trying to do DeFi 2.0 and trying to revolutionize it, specifically with having multiple bridges and being able to swap between them very easily. So with that concept is you can purchase liquidity pool tokens, and not a lot of places do this, but he's going to allow it so that you can borrow money against it. So then you can do a huge loop, cycle through, and then get even more money with or you can purchase more liquidity provider tokens with what you borrowed. Now, you can't do that infinitely amount, so eventually you got to pick what you want to do with the borrowed funds that you have. So then you can try to get the max yield, which then maybe you hop over to Popsicle Finance, and then it takes advantage of being able to optimize the yield across multiple blockchains for you, and then you get the most yield. Meanwhile, the collateral that you provide in your liquidity pool tokens, that's gaining fees off the decentralized exchange as well. So now you get the best of both worlds. You give a collateral that's making money in the process, and then with the money that you borrowed, it's trying to get the most yield as possible. So, gotta let you know, this is risky stuff. I don't even know all the details. I don't know all the risks. Gotta think through it. Some ideas are, I need to think about, what about taxes? You know, if I'm getting a lot of yield, I think that's just a normal thing a lot of people know about, but I gotta think about taxes. You know, what if I get liquidated? You know, so that's another thing to think about. What if there's a major crypto crash? How are the funds going to happen? Like, knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't happen, but you know, with the crypto market being very volatile, gotta think about it. With them developing so much, can the smart contracts get exploited? Can there be hacks? How is the SEC, you know, on the U.S. side? What if they do some stuff and, you know, come in? I don't know. I don't know if they even have the ability to do it with a decentralized stablecoin as of this nature, or maybe they'll say, hey, this is now legal on the US side, and then that puts a little damper on altcoins, etc. Not sure, but this is how I see it. Some of this stuff isn't implemented yet. For example, you can't really provide that many LP tokens to ABRACADABRA money as of yet. And let's see here, Popsicle Finance is not in full gear yet, but that's why you can probably see Spell is ramping up, Popsicle Finance and ICE ramping up, Anyswap getting a lot of the transfers, etc. So, and then, yeah, you can still borrow against on the Ethereum side a lot, so that's why I think Spell holders like that too, because they're getting a good yield. So, anyways, that's everything that I got. Let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video. Pieces.